The stage lights of America's Got Talent glow brighter as a young man slowly walks toward the center. His name is Arvin, a simple 22-year-old from the Philippines, dressed in a plain white shirt and slightly worn-out jeans. Nothing about his appearance screams star power, yet there is a quiet dignity in the way he carries himself. The judges, Simon Cowell, Heidi Klum, Sofia Vergara, and Howie Mandel, exchange curious glances, wondering what story lies behind the shy smile of this contestant. The host, Terry Crews, introduces him with warmth. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Arvin from the Philippines." A cheer rises from the crowd. Arvin grips the microphone tightly, his palms damp with sweat. For a moment, he just stands there, scanning the enormous hall filled with strangers. The stage feels intimidating, so much bigger than the small karaoke bars and town fiestas he used to sing at back home. Simon, raising an eyebrow, asks in his usual straightforward manner, "What's your name, and where are you from?" Arvin clears his throat, his voice soft and humble. "My name is Arvin, and I came all the way from the Philippines." His accent is gentle, carrying the weight of his journey across oceans. "Wow, the Philippines," Sophia smiles warmly. "What made you want to audition here?" Arvin pauses, and the silence in the room grows heavy. He looks down at his hands for a moment, gathering the courage to reveal his truth. "Back home," he begins softly, "life has never been easy. My family struggled, sometimes, we barely had enough food. But music was always my escape. I used to sing on the streets, in little gatherings, just to earn a few coins to help my parents and my younger siblings. I never imagined standing here in America, in front of all of you. But I promised myself, if I ever got this chance, I would give everything." The audience listens intently, and a hush falls over the arena. Arvin's words are not rehearsed, they are raw, unpolished, and true. You can almost picture him back in Manila, standing on a crowded street corner with nothing but a microphone and a dream. Simon leans forward, studying him closely. Normally, he has little patience for long introductions, but something in Arvin's voice holds him still. There is no desperation here, just honesty. Heidi smiles kindly and says, "Arvin, you've already won our hearts with your story. But now we're ready to hear your voice." Arvin nods, takes a deep breath, and closes his eyes for a moment. Inside, his heart is racing. He remembers his mother's words before he boarded the plane. "Anak, whatever happens, sing with all your heart. Don't be afraid. Even if you don't win, you've already made us proud." Those words echo in his head now, giving him courage. The spotlight focuses tightly on him. The crowd is silent, waiting. Terry, standing backstage, clenches his fists in encouragement. The judges sit upright, their expressions serious. For Arvin, this is not just an audition, it is the culmination of years of sacrifice, late nights singing with nothing but hope, and days of wondering if dreams like his were too far-fetched. With one last deep breath, he grips the microphone, ready to let the world hear the voice that carried him from the alleys of Manila to the grandest stage of them all. And then, silence falls, the music cue is given, and the entire auditorium braces itself for what this humble young man from the Philippines is about to deliver. The hall falls into complete silence as the first soft notes of the instrumental begin. The spotlight rests firmly on Arvin, illuminating his face, while the rest of the arena fades into shadows. For a brief second, he closes his eyes. His chest rises and falls, steadying his breath. He is no longer just a contestant on America's Got Talent. He is that boy from Manila again, standing barefoot in the humid night air, singing on the street corners for strangers who might toss him a coin. And then, he begins. The first note escapes his lips, pure and trembling with emotion. His voice is soft at first, like a whisper carried by the wind, but it grows stronger with each phrase. There is something haunting about it, something raw and unpolished that makes it feel undeniably real. Every syllable carries the weight of his struggles, every rise and fall in pitch tells a story of hardship, resilience, and hope. The audience is stunned. 1,000 people, yet you could hear a pin drop. Some hold their breath, afraid to break the spell. The camera zooms in on the judges. Howie leans back in awe. Heidi clasps her hands together at her chest. Sophia smiles with tears already glistening in her eyes. And Simon is different. His usual guarded, stoic expression begins to soften. He leans in, eyes fixed on Arvin, as though the young man's voice is peeling away every layer of his famously tough exterior. Arvin sings as though the song was written just for him. His body barely moves, no theatrics, no exaggerated gestures, only his voice fills the stage. But that voice is enough. It rises to the rafters, soaring with passion, then dips to quiet, fragile notes that feel like a prayer whispered in the dark. The song builds. You can feel his pain when he stretches for those higher notes, as if every memory of going hungry, of watching his mother's tears, of telling his younger siblings, someday, things will be better, is woven into his performance. His trembling hands clutch the microphone tighter, yet his voice does not break, it grows stronger, fuller, more determined. A woman in the audience wipes her eyes. A man places his hand over his heart. Strangers, who never met Arvin before this night, now feel as though they know him deeply. That is the power of his voice, it does not just entertain, it connects. As the chorus swells, Arvin opens his eyes for the first time and looks straight into the crowd. His gaze is not one of arrogance or pride, but of gratitude. It is as if he is silently saying, "Thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me share this piece of my soul with you." The arena, massive and echoing, feels suddenly intimate, like a small room where a boy sings for his family after a long day. And yet, this smallness magnifies into something universal. Every person in that audience begins to remember their own struggles, their own hardships, and the dreams they once thought impossible. Arvin's song becomes not just his story, but everyone's story. Simon shifts in his seat, visibly emotional. His lips press tightly together, his eyes glisten. This is a man who has heard thousands of singers, yet very few manage to penetrate his defenses. But Arvin does. Each note feels like a mirror to the heart, stripping away cynicism, reminding him, and everyone else, why music matters. The performance nears its end. The music slows. Arvin holds the microphone close, his voice trembling but sure, pouring every ounce of his being into the final line. It is not the loudest note of the night, nor the most technically perfect, but it is the most human. When the final sound fades, a stillness lingers. For a heartbeat, no one moves. The audience sits frozen, as if afraid that clapping too soon might shatter the fragile beauty of what they just experienced. Arvin lowers his head, tears shining in his eyes. He does not know yet if he has done enough, but he knows he gave it his all. And then it happens. The silence erupts into thunderous applause. The audience leaps to their feet in a roaring standing ovation. Some are crying, others shouting his name. The arena shakes. With cheers, whistles, and clapping. The camera captures the judges rising as well, Howie grinning, Heidi wiping away a tear, Sophia clapping with glowing pride. And Simon sits still for a moment, his hand covering his mouth. His eyes are moist. He takes a deep breath, then finally stands, joining the ovation. For Simon Cowell to stand, everyone knows, is no small gesture. It is a testament to the fact that this performance was not just good, not just great, it was extraordinary. Arvin, overwhelmed, covers his face with his hands. His shoulders shake as the weight of the moment hits him. All those years of struggle, all the sacrifices, the doubts, the sleepless nights, they have led to this. For the first time, he feels not small, not forgotten, but seen. Truly seen. The crowd continues to cheer, chanting his name, filling the auditorium with love. On stage, Arvin bows deeply, his tears falling freely now. He is no longer just the poor boy from Manila, he is a star in this very moment, shining brighter than the golden lights above. The performance is over, but the echoes of his voice linger in the hearts of everyone present. And yet, the night is far from done. For the most emotional moment, the one that will be remembered forever, is still to come. The roar of the standing ovation still fills the auditorium. Arvin, trembling, holds the microphone close to his chest as though it were the only thing anchoring him to the stage. His eyes scan the sea of clapping hands, smiling faces, and cheering voices. For the first time in his life, he feels like he belongs here, on one of the biggest stages in the world. The cameras pan across the judges' table. Heidi is still dabbing her eyes with a tissue, Sophia clasps her hands over her heart, and Howie is shaking his head in disbelief, grinning like a proud uncle. Then the focus shifts to Simon Cowell. Simon sits back in his chair for a moment, unusually quiet. His chin rests on his hand, his lips pressed into a thin line. For decades, he has been the toughest critic in the business, the man who rarely lets emotions cloud his judgment. But tonight is different. Tonight, he looks vulnerable. His eyes glisten under the bright stage lights, and for the first time in years, the audience sees Simon Cowell not as the untouchable judge, but as a man deeply moved. Finally, Simon leans forward, removing his hand from his face. His voice is softer than usual, shaky even. "Arvin," he begins, pausing to collect himself. The crowd quiets instantly. "I have done this for a long time. I have heard thousands of auditions. But very few have touched me the way you just did." Arvin's eyes widen. His heart pounds faster than it did while he was singing. He never imagined Simon Cowell, of all people, would say such words. Simon continues, his voice breaking slightly. "There's something about you, your voice, your story, your honesty, that just cuts through everything. You reminded me tonight why I fell in love with music in the first place. And I have to be honest, I wasn't expecting that." A murmur of agreement ripples through the audience. Some fans shout, "We love you, Arvin." Arvin lowers his head, tears streaming freely now. He whispers, barely audible, thank you so much." Simon exhales deeply, as though wrestling with a decision. Then, with a sudden burst of resolve, he slams his hand down on the table, right on the golden buzzer. The auditorium explodes. Golden confetti bursts into the air, showering down like a dream made visible. The glittering pieces catch the stage lights, creating a magical storm of gold around Arvin. Arvin gasps, his knees buckling under the weight of emotion. He falls to the floor, both hands covering his face as sobs break free. The confetti sticks to his tears, to his shirt, to his hair, as though the universe itself is crowning him with victory. The audience roars louder than ever, their voices blending into one collective cheer. People wave their arms, jump to their feet, some even cry. The atmosphere is electric, alive, unforgettable. Terry Crews rushes onto the stage, lifting Arvin into a tight embrace. "You did it, brother. You did it," he shouts over the deafening noise. Back at the judges' table, Heidi claps with joy, Sophia wipes away her tears, and Howie points at Arvin as if to say, "You're the real deal." But it is Simon who steals the moment. Standing slowly, he looks up at the golden confetti raining down and then back at Arvin with glistening eyes. For once, Simon does not hide behind sarcasm or a smirk. His expression is pure and unguarded, a mixture of admiration and pride. Arvin finally gathers the courage to stand. He looks toward Simon, his voice cracking as he says, "Sir, thank you. I don't know what to say." Simon smiles gently, shaking his head. "You don't have to say anything, Arvin. Your voice said it all." The crowd erupts again, chanting his name, "Arvin! Arvin! Arvin!" Golden confetti continues to fall like endless blessings. For Arvin, the moment feels surreal, almost dreamlike. Just weeks ago, he was back in Manila, walking through crowded streets, singing in small corners, wondering if anyone in the world would ever truly hear him. And now, millions are watching, cheering, and celebrating his gift. The stage glows with gold, and the music swells. Arvin raises his arms to the sky, embracing the moment. He knows this is not just about him, it is about his family back home, his country, and every dreamer who ever felt too small to be noticed. In that shining instant, Arvin is not just a contestant. He is a symbol of hope. A reminder that no matter how far the distance, no matter how heavy the struggle, dreams can come true. As the confetti settles and the cheers continue, Simon leans toward his microphone one last time. "Arvin," he says, his voice calm but firm, "you are going to change lives with that voice. This is only the beginning." The arena shakes with applause once more. Arvin bows deeply, overwhelmed, his heart bursting with gratitude. Tears blur his vision, but he doesn't need to see, he feels it. The love, the acceptance, the victory. And as the cameras capture the golden rain, Simon Cowell wiping his eyes, and Arvin smiling through tears, the world knows, this audition will be remembered forever.